Welcome to I on the Live. This is Mike Kegley with Marcus Griffin, Illini legend, and Kennedy's legend. We are here to talk a little bit about this game, Illinois versus Southern U. Illinois, I thought they played a fine game. I didn't think the intensity was too high, but I also think they still played enough defense to hold the team to 35% shooting. Not going to complain about that. Give me your thoughts, Marcus.
This is a game. When I was playing, we played a Mississippi squad, and all I was thinking, we had Joe Cross on the team. Joe, how many shots you want to get up today? Because it'd be about the second group, the third group of guys who don't get to play that much. That was our mindsets. I'm like, right after halftime, I want to have ice on my knees, ready to be done with this game. Let Nate Mass, Jerrance Howard, our walk-ons get into the game. And these are the games that you get them the experience. Starters, you go out there and handle your business. You shut this team down. And then you let the early second half, the whole second half, be about the second and third, the people that really help you get better in practice. So nothing that happened in this game surprised me whatsoever. It was exactly what I was expecting. As you get to go into the Big Ten, the one thing that we need, because this is going to be a war. This is going to be a marathon in the Big Ten this year. It's about confidence. And being able to have these guys last couple of games, get out there and stretch the floor and knock down some shots, it's only going to be that much harder to beat them going into the Big Ten, because everybody's got confidence. Everybody is confident right now. Davis is shooting the ball better than he has in a very, very long time. And I think he's lead Illinois in three-point percentage. And so, but yeah, it was a good effort. Nothing really to take away from this game, but just confident getting them ready to go for the Big Ten tournament. Big Ten.
Kid?
For me, I would tell you, I was worried a little bit, because you never know what these games are like. Griff was honest with us, which I really like, because when you see these games on the schedule, you're supposed to win. College basketball is a little different, because you can lose these games.
Yes, you can.
The thing I took away from it, I'm gonna have to give Southern some credit. They were athletic as heck. They didn't only take the ball away from Petravic. They took the ball away from Kylan and everybody else. They were really athletic. That team they left the State Farm Center 4-9, but they're going to beat some people. And I don't know who else they play on the schedule. I'm going to look. I've heard them say that they play a tough schedule. That team's going to beat people. They're not afraid. They mix up defenses, which is what Illinois needed to see. And I guess the one thing I came away with it, they got the win, and they didn't look like they were flat. Typically, Illinois lays an egg with a game like this after the game they played against Missouri, and then you got to go to Penn State. So this was encouraging, and they always look good when the shots go in.
Yeah, that's the truth. So as I look at this, a couple things stood out. Of course, Ivisic with the face mask. So those are a pain. You have to actually get them individually made, and it kind of affects you looking down, that hard plastic. So I thought he played a pretty good job, a pretty good game, considering he's got that on his face. And I thought that he was showing a lot of ups and downs. And I thought Tomislav played a little bit better today. How important is this Penn State game? Because you're going into the Big Ten, you're on the road. It's a game you're expected to win. And you got to think Penn State's excited about playing Illinois. Got a chance to put a big name up on the board early in the season for them. I'm not saying there are any games a must win, but I do think this is a game Illinois really wants to kind of, let's stick a pin in these guys and start the new year right.
Can I break it down to you?
Yeah.
So every road game you are favored in, you need to win. If you're trying to win a Big Ten championship and you're trying to get a Big Ten tournament title, You have to win every road game you are favored to win in. And then the teams that you're not favored in, you want to split those and then win every home game. You cannot take these games lightly. I remember my senior year, we did exactly the opposite of what I'm telling you. We went up to Penn State, knowing everything. We was able to bounce back and beat Michigan State at home, but we went up there and laid an egg. You just cannot take these games for granted. And it was an early afternoon game, just like they played today out on the East Coast. So, we was tired because it was early, but you have to just go in and get it. It's an important game because it's a Big Ten game. It's a very important game because it's a Big Ten game, and you got to just stack up the wins because getting a win on the road in the Big Ten is going to be hard. Everybody is coming to give Illinois their best shot. Illinois has the most wins in the Big Ten in the last couple of years. Everybody wants to beat them. Everybody wants to beat them. So you have that bullseye on your back. You have it on your back. Go get that victory.
To me, it's huge because Illinois, Griff, I don't remember that game, and I don't forget too many of them.
We was up 21-1/2.
They struggled against Penn State. They have. I'm going to tell you a lot. And for the fans to remember, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not 99% sure. I don't think it's in Happy Valley. You remember the year they had Terrence Shannon and Marcus Domask and Coleman Hawkins? I think they're playing in one of those small gyms again.
Yeah, I remember that game.
And they beat Illinois.
Yeah.
So, Griff, on top of that, and there's a reason.
Ken is pausing for effect here.
Yeah, he is.
That they can't play. Can you hear me?
Yep, now we can. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. You go to that ghost town, and then in that gym, you don't have the home court advantage. Now, going there, you have the home. You go in that gym, home court advantage. And Griff's right. The most important thing is, it's a win. You got to win because they're behind the eight ball. They lost at home to Nebraska already. You can't afford to lose that.
Can't afford to lose it.
No, that's exactly what I was kind of implying. The other thing, Fedigator, we'll kind of talk about this. Petravic really is turnover prone, a defensive liability. And I don't know if you remember, he went through the lane and the ball got knocked out and ended up being Illinois' ball. And he was waiting for the ref to hand him the ball to inbound. He just does not look like he has any confidence. And I just think that whatever he's going through,
like he's mad. Let's be honest, he's mad. You can see it, buddy.
He's mad, but it's like, dude, just because you get knocked off your line, it wasn't a foul the other 9 times that it happened in games. It's not going to be a foul the 10th time. You got to start saying that this is how the game's called.
I don't think he's talking about mad about this game.
No,
I think
I understand.
We're talking about he's mad about
his situation. All of it. And his body language, coach look at body language. His body language is bad. And I'm not going to take the high road with this one. So you guys, as listeners, and Mike and Griff, if I'm wrong, you can tell me. I'll listen to it. I don't blame the kid for being upset. The kid came here with all expectations to play. He got injured, and that set him back. And we all know how good he was supposed to be. He has not adjusted to the game at all. And his pouting, because he has not helped him. Nope. When he got in the game the first half, the first thing I thought was, kid, you haven't played a lot. The one thing you can't do is turn the ball over. He goes to the free throw line and turns the ball over. If you want to put a smile on your face, turn that frown upside down, which is what they used to tell us in kindergarten, then you have to give them reasons to play you. Because the talent is there. But he's still shaking guys' hands. I love that about him, but he's upset. And if you're a competitor, and I know the three of us are, and our listeners, hopefully most of our listeners are, you're not going to want to accept that. Why would you want to come across the pond to sit? He's good, but he's struggling, and he has to own that. So the coaches do a good job with him still. He has the right to be mad, but he's done this to himself.
Griff?
I don't have anything. I don't disagree with anything that he said. Everything, you can struggle But man, it just looks bad when the body language is just his body language. I'm surprised it ain't rubbed off on other players, because once you see it, it's just nasty to look at. And I don't know if he was promised something, if he came in here thinking that he was going to get 32 minutes a game.
Yes, I do. Yes, Griff, he was, buddy. And his mind started to cut you off. He thought so. But Katon Wagner stole the show. And we knew he was going to be good, but I'm going to tell you, everybody who knew about Petravic coming in and who followed recruiting, we all knew he was going to be that guy. He got outplayed, and again, the injuries didn't help him. And some coaches don't. I don't know what Coach Under was doing. Will punish you for that. But I will say this: Brandon Lee doesn't play a lot either. His body language didn't look like that. He was smiling, giving guys high five. Even if you don't like it, you got to change it, because I'm going to tell you right now, I know for a fact coaches will go back and look on film and see Marcus Griffin sitting there on the bench pouting and not shaking hands.
Yep.
And the people out there listening know of a guy who played at Illinois the last 3 or 4 years when they played Northwestern, who didn't shake hands, and his lip was dragging on the State Farm Center floor because he wasn't happy. They look at that and they hold that against you. Because here's the deal: it's Division I basketball. This isn't junior college basketball. This isn't high school. At the Division I level, the coaches, even though you're getting paid, they're still in charge.
Well, the thing that gets me is if you're mad, I'm not blaming a guy for being mad. Get mad and take it out on the other team. Go play some defense. Go get a steal. Go hustle. Get a rebound. You know, something. To me, I would look at it as any stat that I can get will help prove my point. So I'm going to not turn the ball over. I'm going to grab a few assists. I'm going to get the easy layup. You know, and to me, it's just really, really frustrating to see a guy who gets mad, but then, I mean, you know, do something with the anger.
I'm sitting here coaching 4th grade boys about body language right now and everything, and I see him get in, and you see it. You can't help but to see it. And I already know the coaches see it, and the coaches is probably talking to him and encouraging him and everything, but this is his first time being in this experience, because I'm pretty sure when he was overseas, he never had this experience like that. He is able to play through everything. He didn't have to worry about somebody on the bench being as good or better than him that can take his situation. So now he just got these moments, it builds you. It builds something in you. So he just got to see what type of player, what type of man he truly is.
Hey, 2 things real quick. Vetigator's right. It was Jaden Epps, number 1. And 2, Coach Underwood did just say to the media that Zonovan has a broken nose. And if you go back to the Missouri game, which I'm sure you guys saw the play.
Yeah, he got hit.
Yeah, his nose is broken.
Yeah.
Yep. Shades of Io, you know, that, but I will say good first game, because my son had suffered the same type of injury and played both soccer and basketball with a mask, and your your downward vision gets affected by that plastic that's this thick, even if it's clear, and it kind of screws you up a little bit. So I thought he played really well. That gives him a reason to keep his hands up on defense and stuff, because he'll be able to see. He'll be able to see a lot better. Don't have to worry about that. So
that
was positive. Man. Yeah, exactly. Now another question is: Stojakovic had 6 points, 1 for 5, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 3 boards. Is there a reason, guys, to be concerned that we want to get him back on track, or was this just one of those games where the game didn't come to him and he didn't force it himself?
They played zone. He's not a good 3-point shooter, and they took the drive away from him, which is why you saw Jake Davis become the man today. And no offense, because we know how good he played good against Missouri. It was just the game. And if I tell you what, if he could shoot the ball consistently like the other players, right, you know he'd be on the floor. He's just not a good. He missed his first 3. I don't know. I'm gonna look at the stats here as you say this, but
he was 5 for 6.
Yeah,
from the 3.
So to me, he has to.
KP is pausing on us again.
Yep. Ked's a little William Shatner-ish, you know, when Captain Kirk would say something and then pause for no reason. Yeah. We got Ked doing the same thing now. Go ahead, Ked.
No, go ahead, fellas. I mean, I'm in a different location today, and so I'm sorry about that. I'm not.
We were just having fun with it, Ken. We really
Oh,
weren't
no,
talking
you know what? I
basketball.
can hear it. I heard everything. I just couldn't comment. But no, he just didn't shoot the ball well. I don't think it was a game for him to be in today. And the zone was more of a matchup zone, which really took his game away from him, I thought.
He's a player. He's a player. These type of games, when you want to get everybody else confidence rolling going into the Big Ten, your ballers is not something that you worry about. They can have a bad game here or there. You want the others, like Shaq likes to say, you want the others to make sure that they're ready to go locked in going into Big Ten. So he could get his buckets in a lot of different ways. He is going to be fine. Just didn't want any injuries. That was a big thing. When you get games like this, you want everybody to come out of that game, no injuries, ready to go. So he'll be fine.
And look, Wagner again. I know it gets tired of people talking about him all the time, but you're talking a double-double. 11 points, 10 assists. But folks, he had 7 rebounds.
Yeah.
I mean, he was within shooting distance of a triple-double as a freshman.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that, man?
He just played a clean game. Like they really couldn't pressure him. They really can't. They couldn't pressure. Like, he was at the park. That's all it was. He was at the park. It really, like, I can't take much from this game. I really can't. I'm trying Mike and KP, but I really just can't. He was at the park hooping. He gave you easily 28 minutes of him playing at the park, being under control, being able to do everything he wanted to do with the ball. When he wanted to attack the rim, he was able to get into the paint. When he wanted to get teammates open, he was able to dish the ball, make great passes. So, solid game.
I'm going to take a different approach with this, you guys. Mike, you asked about his game, and every time you hear a game on TV, now I want the listeners out there to understand, they repeat the same talking points.
Yeah.
Okay, they all do. But why is David the only guy that you hear about being freshman of the year possibly, and not Katon Wagner? Because personally, Katon is the guy that you're going to hear that's possibly going in the NBA draft. He's having an outstanding year. His numbers are better. I don't understand why they can. And trust me, David is great. Go back to the Ohio State game. He's had 21 rebounds in the game. But for some reason, every time you hear freshman of the year in the Big Ten, you hear David, and you don't hear a thing about Katon.
Can I say something? I hate to interrupt you, KP.
No, by all means, go ahead.
But I think the reason is the same reason why everybody is now seeing him play. I think everybody came into the season thinking David. And I think Wagner is starting to change people. Oh, we have another freshman over here. And I think as he's going to continue to ball, I think the conversation is going to change more and more. But I think everybody already had it in their minds at the beginning of the season. This was our freshman of the year. But Wagner is showing you, hey, there's another dog in this race now too. And he balling out. That young man is balling out. He keep up. He's going to be one and done.
He may be. I think he leads the team in scoring. Nice coach, and I know he leads the team in minutes. He did today.
16, 17 a game.
Yeah.
Yep. He playing. He playing. He's surprising the mess out of me. His poise. Like early in that bragging rights game, his poise in attacking the basket and hitting some deep threes. It was like, oh, okay, I see it. Okay.
He doesn't get rattled, Griff, at all.
What'd you say?
He doesn't get rattled at all.
Yeah.
I
can't wait to see him in them high pressure Big Ten games to see exactly how he handles that, because that's going to be the next measuring stick. When he goes to a Michigan State, when he goes to a Purdue, and you get in the last 2 minutes and you see him guarding Smith, or I can't think of that point guard's name. Is that Smith at Purdue? Okay.
Yeah, so there's Braden Smith and then the Spears at Michigan State. Yeah, both of those guys.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him in that environment. But he's shining right now.
There you go, Mike. You're muted, buddy.
Yeah, no, I got dogs going in the background. I will tell you, to me, it's going to be really interesting because he's been unflappable. They've also been unable, other teams have been unable to speed him up. How is he going to react when he's at Purdue and he's getting hit with a blackjack and the ref isn't calling anything, or he's at Michigan State and Izzo brings in some guy off the bench to see if he can crack him one. That to me is going to be the test, because if he passes that test,
yeah,
I don't know,
cow.
guys. You know what? Here's the deal. Some kids just have that demeanor, and he doesn't. I think I've seen him one game. It was the Tennessee game where they were trash talking to him, and he barked back. He doesn't show any emotion. He doesn't, he is not a high five type of guy. You look at the guys when they celebrate, they do the whole jump in the air 5,000 feet and chest bump and stuff. He's just not who he is. He's just a laid back kid. And one of the things the NBA scouts like about him is that he doesn't show his trump card. You don't know. You don't know what he's thinking, if he's mad, frustrated or not. He doesn't. If he's 1 for 9, he shows the same emotion as he does. He's 1 for 9 or 10 for 10. That's what I think is going to keep him going. And when I talked to his dad mentioned to me, and his word, you're never going to see him change. He's been that way his whole life. Now, granted, it's a bigger stage. You guys talk about going to Mackey and playing at Purdue, and I remember, Tom Izzo did the same thing at Iowa, and I remember they roughed up Kofi when he was up there. So I think he's at the top of the scouting report, but I think people are so focused on David and Stojakovic and the Zonovan brothers, it's easy to forget about him. I mean, it really is. But if you're a coach and you look at the numbers and think who's running this team and who needs a big shot, go back to Tennessee and Ohio State, because it was him.
Well, I mean, look, don't you think, he's 6'6". Jeremy Fears is not that big, but man, Izzo's going to have something set up, and I think it's going to be set up to try to get Wagner. I mean, that's the guy I would want to stop.
Tom Izzo's teams play hard. Know this. They're going to beat the hell out of you, and it's not just about Katon Wagner. They're all going to have to guard. They're all going to have to be tough with the ball. Last year's team, when they went to East Lansing, they had a chance to win. That wasn't a tough team last year, I didn't think. But I remember Will Riley got off, he got going, and I think if they could somehow continue to guard, I look at, this is a show about the men today, but the one thing I've noticed about both of the men's and women's team, they picked up the defense in the last few games, which is resulting in wins, and I think they are in the top 2 or 3 teams as far as the amount of turnovers that they don't turn the ball over. They're only averaging like 10, 11, 12 turnovers a game. The coaches always tell me, and I don't know if Coach Self ever told you this, Griff, teams that win championships and teams that win, you keep your turnovers to 13 or less.
Take care of the ball. But talking about the young man, going into, like I said, he has to go through that gauntlet to test. He has to go. People go and try things to get under his skin. You go into Indiana, you go into Wisconsin, you go into Purdue, you go into Michigan State. Those are tough places, locations to get W's in. They're going to fight. They're going to grab on jerseys. And it's not about him scoring. It's about him keeping his composure, him still being able to get buckets and pass the ball. So he's going to have to go through that gauntlet. This is just going to be another test. But right now, he got the steady hand. He's showing the steady hand. It ain't been doing this. So hopefully it can stay like this.
Griff, let me ask you real quick. I know what I'm going to say. I'm going to see if you agree or disagree. With Big Ten only, what was the toughest arena for you to play in when you were in Illinois? I mean, I would say I thought it was Michigan State. I think Michigan State.
I never played there.
Okay.
Because I was hurt when we went to Michigan State. So I never played there. So for me personally,
Indiana, Iowa, Michigan.
I absolutely hated playing in Bloomington.
Did you?
Yeah, I absolutely hated playing in that place.
To me, it would from my experience of being, going to different Big Ten venues, to me, it's Mackey, because you can't even hear yourself think because it's so dang loud in there. So to me, I was thinking that you might say Mackey, although those Purdue teams were not the Purdue teams.
That's what I was saying about Indiana, because it was so loud, because those teams was really, really good. And so that year that they had Kirk Hastings, that place was rocking. And it'd be like, what did you say? Serge would be standing right next to me. I'd be like, man, I can't hear you. Let me get a little closer. Because those buildings would be rocking. But Iowa was right there too, because that's when they had Reggie Evans and those boys. Yeah.
So now we got Brad Sturdy joining us, folks. Brad is our traveling podcaster now as he goes from Champaign to Nashville, Tennessee. No stops, no rest for this guy. He's got to go from one game to another. That's the life of an Illini guy, or at least the one that people want to see in the press box. I've been asked not to do that. So, Brad, but we struggled with a lot to say about today's game. You had a couple fun comments in our text threads. Any thoughts that come to mind as you were as you're coming out of this experience?
I don't think we're gonna say that one, Mike. The one thing I thought, you got a lot of guys minutes, got to let them get kind of back into the game flow, getting ready for the Big Ten. So this was a fine game. Saw some different defensive looks from Southern. Got to go against some zone, some man-to-man. The way they defend the man-to-man was a lot different than most people do. I think the one thing is that you can't, this is just a win. I mean, you going in the schedule, I think Ken Palm rates this as a 99.9% win. So you just want to go out there and compete and give some effort and so forth. I thought there were a few times they tried to do too much. They over dribbled. And then once they started moving the ball, they were really good. And offensively, defensively, probably if you take away those points they gave up on the turnovers, it would have been even better defensive performance. But I mean, still 55 points on 62 possessions for that game. That's solid. And when you have an offense that's that good, you're going to win a lot of games if you can hold them under 1 point per possession, game in and game out. So really saw, I think we see a lot why, Katon Wagner is so good is that he just came out there and I didn't even think he was like great. He was just fine, and he had 11 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds. So, and just didn't get that game was very, very physical. I don't know what you could see on TV if you could notice that, but that game was really physical, grabbing, holding. Guys, I don't know how many guys got hit in the face. I mean, just not necessarily like hit on purpose, but just, reach ins and get. I think there was 4 or 5 times where one of the Illinois guys got hit in the face on a reach in. And I think there's only 1 or 2 calls. So that's a kind of game, a lot of grabbing, holding, jerseys being pulled. And that's the kind of game you're going to get in the Big Ten. So you better get used to it, right? And that's a good thing for them, a good kind of learning game for them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, folks, real quick here as we're going on, tomorrow we will be doing, for, of course, the Music City Bowl, we will be doing a halftime live show. We will be talking about the game. It kicks off at 4:30 Central Time, so make sure you get home in time for that. But if not, when you get to halftime, you get an extended version with us. I don't know what could be a better way to spend your halftime. And then after the game, we will have our post-game show going live, and we will do our final Illinois football game of the year as Brett Bielema and the Illini go for a 9-win season. If they win this 9th game, that will be the first time in the history of Illinois football that they've won 9 games or more back-to-back ever. So let's keep our fingers crossed. And so the final thing is if you want to get ready for the game, we did not 1, but 2 preview podcasts with different media members. Ryan Sylvia of Rocky Top Insider was on, and then we also had the Vol brothers on last night. You can watch either one. Ryan is more straightforward. The Vol brothers have a nice dry sense of humor. So when I asked them about their defensive backfield, they asked me if they had a defensive backfield. So it was kind of fun to go through with them. But get ready for the game. You got a couple Illini guys, Eye on the Illini episodes that you can use ready for game time. And it should be a fun bowl as we wrap up this season for yet another successful season for Brett Bielema as he sets the record for most wins in the first 5 years of a coach's tenure at the University of Illinois. So with that aside here, Brad, other thoughts that come to mind?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of talk about Mihailo Petravic, and I think obviously the game was physical. That is something he's not used to. They don't play as physical overseas. You can watch the way they flow. It's just different. But one thing I noticed tonight is he is trying to make a play every time he touches the ball. He's not connecting, making a kick it back. You watch, and this is like, I know he's older, but he's used to having to make the play, right? So you watch Wagner play, he'll give it up, cut through the defense, make a play, and then he gets it back. And it's like he just takes what the defense gives. I feel like Petravic right now, and this is not uncommon. The problem is he's the one, although he's 21 years old, he's really playing like a little bit like a freshman in that he's trying to make a play every time. And he's seeing, so he wants to, every time he gets the ball, he wants to get a ball screen and make a play. Well, sometimes the play is to make the easy pass. We reverse the ball and he gets it on the other side. So the defense shifts. Those are the kind of things where I think, he'll get there. But I think that's still in his learning curve because he's not used to that. He's used to just being the guy to make a play. And so I think he'll get there. And he kind of figured it out a little bit tonight for me. I thought that was good. But I thought his effort was better defensively. So it was good. I think this, and the other thing I would say is how about, we talk about Big Z and Tommy and so forth. 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 block shots from your center position there from those two guys. And then Jackson plays the last. I mean, that's fantastic. That's like having Marcus Griffin back, right? Kofi Coburn. So, so those are the kind of things you want. That's really impressive. And I know it's not individual guys, but this is more of it's a little different. And we also found out, Z broke his nose yesterday. A ball took a bad bounce and came off, and he broke his nose at the beginning of practice yesterday. Stojakovic rolled his ankle on practice on, what is today? Monday? I don't even know days of the week right now. But it's Monday. It was on Saturday at practice. Stojakovic stepped on our guy's foot, re-aggravated ankle injury. So he wasn't 100% today. So these are kind of things like, they're able to kind of weather that storm a little bit better. And you didn't really notice, obviously you noticed he had a broken nose because he had the mask that made him look like he was the, I don't know, maybe a bad guy in one of those Highlander movies. But yeah, but it was still you see a huge, you see their ability to have depth and use multiple guys. They can take one guy out, put another guy in, and then you get Jake Davis who steps up and takes advantage of his 20 minutes and hits 5 threes. So really, really fun to see this depth develop. And it's going to be different guys every game, but they aren't so, I guess the biggest difference I would say, they're not as star reliant as some of the other teams have been under Underwood, going back to Io Kofi, going back to, Damask and Shannon. Now they have multiple guys, so much more depth than they've had. And that's something, Mike, I know you and I have talked about a lot, just being that one piece away. And now they kind of have that ability. So pretty cool.
I also thought the interesting thing, but I made the mistake of getting in a Twitter debate. But I do think Tyler Underwood has done a really good job with his offense. You can argue all you want, about this, that, and the other thing. But if you're looking at the results of the offense, it may not be as aesthetically pleasing as old style basketball to us old people, but he gets the results. The one thing I think he does that makes it different than a lot of teams out there, Illinois gets a lot of open looks. We can talk about, can they do a better job of making a few of them? But I thought today was very similar. You know, they had a lot of open looks. I don't know what else you can expect out of your offensive coordinator than to run an offense that gets you a lot of open looks. But Brad, am I reading that wrong, or
No.
what are your?
Hey, think about this. So the last 5 games, Illinois is shooting around between 40.4% from 3 over the last 5 games. At that point in the season, they were shooting around 30% after the UConn game. So, you know, they've started to make these shots. Is it practice? Is it just being connected, rhythm, finding good looks, taking fewer bad threes? I asked Brad about it in the postgame, and that's what he talked about. Maybe they're taking better threes. They're not forcing bad ones. And they're just finding the right, knowing where they're supposed to attack and finding those things. So I think it's really intriguing because over the past 2 seasons, when they shoot, I think it's 35% above 3, they're undefeated. So if they make 35% of their threes, they're like 16 or 17-0 over the past 2 seasons. So make 35% or more of your threes, and you're probably going to be all right.
Marcus,
Here's my thing, you guys.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter, Mike. I'm involved in a group text. I mean, in a group message on Twitter as well, or X. The thing is, it's Brad Underwood's son. I coached my son, who was an all-state basketball player. You can Google it, and people were still mad about it. It doesn't matter. They could think. Some people said to me, "Well, Kedrick, he didn't even play." There's a lot of coaches who weren't good at basketball who are coaching at the Division I level. The fact of the matter is, I don't like the offense either. I'm not a fan of it. But traditionally, most of the schools are running it. Everybody runs high ball screens. Hell, you even see it in women's games. The NBA is that way. What I don't like about it, because I'm old school, I like to see more traditional sets. Like I know Bill Self ran that offense where, everybody starting the baseline. It was was a high-low, and then it was a backdoor pass. You want to see sets. Yeah. Very rare do you see stuff like that from Illinois right now. You have seen it. And if you go back to I think it was the Tennessee game, they started the quarter with a back screen. A pass was given from Kylan Boswell to Z for a dunk. You don't see enough of it. And I think that's what fans are probably frustrated with. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're averaging over 80-some points a game. Michigan is probably number 1 in the country, and I think they are. Illinois, and I don't know who else is next, but they're up there. They're in the top 3 or 4 in the Big Ten. Look at it this way: it could be worse, where you're struggling, under like the John Gross era, where you couldn't put the ball in the basket at all. So part of it is because it's bad, and people don't like the new way the game is being played. The game is being played that way by everybody. Watch other games. Hell, Iowa's playing right now, and they're doing the same thing. Now they mix in a lot of different sets and backdoor cuts off of it, but that's the problem. It's not the fact that the offense isn't working, because if you make shots, and Mike, you hit it around the head, they get an awful lot of open looks. And that's what was the knock on Ben-Hum Rickhouse last year. He couldn't make an open shot. He was wide open. Now he's making shots, and you don't hear his name on these podcasts anymore. You hear nothing.
Yeah. Griff, you were looked like you were going to say something when I was talking there.
I lost it. I lost it.
Yeah, I was talking about Bill Self's offense. I thought you were going to comment about that, because I remember those plays. That high-low between you and Cook, the backdoor pass from the wing. I remember all those plays, because I stole that play from Bill Self, actually.
Yeah, in regards to that, basketball is just different. Like, instead of dominating, you got a team that's 6'5", 6'8", 6'9". They just shoot threes, and they want to keep this paint open. I wasn't raised in that era. If you got 6'5", 6'4", 6'8", guard me, we're going to pound you down low. And with Coach Self's offense, it was just perfect for us. Even with a lot of Coach Kruger sets, like we would run Gator, dragging the bigs across on the baseline, and then getting the guard to screen across. Like, we just had different opportunities to get the ball on a low block. And so, but other than that, man, this was an easy game for them. It's like I said earlier, it's hard for me to take anything away from this game. Guys get in their confidence, ready to go, because they understand what the mission is now. The mission is come Saturday, Big Ten. Let's go up there. Confidence is high. Let's get this victory.
Yeah, and if you look at the Haslam, Eric Haslam has his Haslam, and he talks about offensive efficiency. so Illinois is second in the country behind Michigan and slightly ahead of Purdue. And so somebody said, well, what's the offensive rating if you take out the teams ranked 150 or worse? I have no clue. I know that Michigan, Purdue, Illinois play a very similar style schedule. I think Illinois may even be a little bit rougher early in the season here with some of the choices Brad Underwood's made. And so you're looking at teams that are at the very top of the rankings, but between 131 and 134. So my guess is that, all teams are better when they play lesser teams. And as they go into their conference, those numbers are going to come down because you're playing more teams that are good.
But Mike, let me ask you this. On the flip side, Texas Tech, they scored 81 points. They scored 86 against Alabama. They scored a low against UConn. Then they put up 75 against Tennessee. They went to Ohio State, and they put up 88. They put up 80 against Nebraska at 91. I'm really sorry. Those aren't top league teams. Those are decent teams. I mean, I don't know what you're looking for. I saw the comment over there, but those are some pretty good teams where you put up points. And I'll tell you, if there was one game on this schedule that I could take back that frustrates me, is that Alabama game at the United Center. If they could get stops, they beat them. They went toe-to-toe with them.
That's the Nebraska game. That's what we've talked about that. Brad and I have had long conversations as well. It ain't the offense that's the problem. It's getting the defense. Yeah.
Yeah, you look at it, and KenPom does it. It's adjusted, based on your level of competition, who you're playing, right? And Illinois is second on offense, but the neat thing is they're 8th overall, but they're up to 25th on defense. So we're starting to see them move up that defensive ladder, especially with that Mizzou performance. We've seen them much better defensively. Are there still things they need to work on? Yeah. But the communication, and I noticed this pregame. I was just watching them communicate, and literally they were even going through their drills. They're much louder than they were, 2 weeks ago. There's more talking, more communicating. This is the thing, and we all know this. We've all coached. If you've got a quiet team on defense, you're not going to be very good. You got to be communicating. It's got to be loud. You got to be talking all the time. And I always say a quiet team's a losing team, right? And so you've got to, and they're getting better. And I don't know. I can't tell you it's because maybe they don't all speak the same language, or I don't know. They're all, they're all from different parts of the world. But it's really cool to see them kind of start connecting on that end of the floor. And we've seen that now. I think I posted on Twitter, how's this going to translate to the Big Ten? We'll find out. I know they're playing a couple of teams that are a little bit offensively challenged the first couple of games before they then go to Iowa, who's going to want to walk it down and play a really slow-paced game and kind of grind you out and score late in the shot clock. So now if that's going to be a huge test for the defense.
So you said a loud team is a winning team. That explains why I was never on a losing team then, because my teams were always loud. Sir, it certainly wasn't the basketball. It's kind of funny, but I think Tyler Underwood's in the same place as was it Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator down at Georgia that everybody loves to hate, and they're putting out tweets today saying, Georgia's number one in offense in offensive efficiency, over on the football side, and there's people who are just like, I don't care. And I felt that way a little bit just because Tyler happens to be the coach's son. And I mean, like if he's a coach's son and he gets results, then why do you care? And if he's a coach's son and he doesn't get results, then I get it.
They want somebody better. It's always
quarterback. I don't think it's not the offense, the whole. It's when you need buckets in critical moments of the game.
Yep.
And then they're still shooting threes.
Yep.
That's what I think people are tired of. It's like when you're down 8, 2 minutes left to go, you have shot 23% from 3 for the game, and then you continue to shoot threes. There haven't been any adjustments being made. And I think that's what fans are talking about. They want to see when we're not shooting threes well, what adjustments can be made on the fly to make this team equally as effective as they have been all year. And I think that's what fans are talking about.
I agree.
And I think it's a challenge too, because this offense does get you good looks.
Yep.
And you want shooters who think the ball's going to go in, right? So the last thing you need is somebody trying to stroke a three going, oh, should I or should I not? I can see both sides of this issue, and I grew up in an era older than yours, Marcus, because when I was in high school, there was no 3-point play. You couldn't. There was no 3-ball period.
I wouldn't even say that out loud again.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. Trust me.
That's so long ago.
That's exactly the point of it, Marcus. Marcus is like, I didn't even know that there was an era that there was no 3-point.
That's in the 70s and the 60s.
This is the 80s.
Just came out, but Mike, we graduated a year or two. We're about the same age.
87 is when it came out.
When was it?
87.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah,
87, 88 season. Yep. In high school.
I wrapped up in 84, 85. So I did not. You know what? That would have resulted in an additional 16 points for me over the course of those 4 years. Because we were like Marcus. We ran Bobby Knight's offense, so you were looking for that back pick on the 19th pass that you could get a guy in the lane, do the little flip over the top, just is what it is.
Getting 18 passes in basketball games now. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, let's go round the horn for final thoughts. We'll wrap it up here. Let Brad get on his drive to Nashville. Obviously, I will say one thing before we do our final thoughts. I thought Bielema's comment when he was handed the guitar that he was going to take better care of it than the basketball team.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was the Bielema stole the internet for that one. That was hilarious. All right, Marcus, your final thoughts on the Southern game here.
Well, guys, just give me a moment. My final thoughts is Illinois did what they were supposed to do. I wish they would have got it done a little earlier, because I would have loved to have seen a lot more bench guys get a lot more playing time in that second half. But I want to take away from my moment is my Dunlap Eagles Travels basketball team. We are a staggering 23-0.
Whoa.
We are 23-0.
You're running an MJ.
I would like to give a shout out to Riker, Brody, Preston, Callum, Deke, Kaz, Aiden, Ashwin, Roman. Thank you guys for being good young men. Thank you guys for being coachable. Hopefully in 10 years, you are the next generation that's going to the University of Illinois. Thank you guys for letting me coach you. But back to KP and giving shout outs about the game.
Well,
all right. Follow that, Ked.
Well, congratulations to you, Griff, for being who you are, number one, and getting back to kids. And I know what that's like. So I know those people truly appreciate you for doing that. As far as Illinois is concerned, you did what you had to do. Yep. We talked about this before Brad got on the air started. We mentioned that Illinois is not traditionally done well at Penn State. I want them to go win the game they're supposed to win. You cannot have any more slip-ups. If you're going to win the Big Ten and you're going to compete with Michigan and Purdue, you lost a game at home. You need to steal another one somewhere. And to me, I looked at the schedule. Everybody's thinking Iowa's going to be a gimme. That's a tough place to go play. You got to win at Penn State. You lose at Penn State because they're not a good team. I think they're behind the eight ball as far as competing with Michigan and Purdue and Michigan State.
Yeah, don't forget Michigan State. Sturdy, final words here.
Yeah, it was just I thought it's fine. I mean, about what I expected. I think I thought they'd win by 31 or 32, and they won by 35. And that's what you do when you're playing these teams. But I think the one thing is you're seeing. I just feel like they're more connected than they were, and I think that's a good thing. And there was a comment on there. What good defenses have they played against? Well, they had the highest efficiency against Tennessee of anybody in the past 3 years. It's been 3 calendar years since somebody had that level of offensive efficiency against a Tennessee basketball team. I think that ranks pretty high. They're consistently a top 10 team. This team can score. They're starting to figure out the defensive side of the ball. When they get that they have a chance to be really, really good. And I think their ceiling is very high.
Excellent. So, folks, we will be back again tomorrow. We will be doing our halftime show. We will be doing a post-game show. Probably start that pretty close to right after the bowl. And then that will be it until Saturday when we go to cover the Penn State game, which I think, as Ked set it up pretty good. Illinois doesn't play well there. It's a snake pit, and Illinois needs to try to win this and not let this get out of hand. And then in terms of stuff to get ready, there's 2 Eye on the Illini that you can do Tennessee football previews. Really good guys, insiders on the other side of the aisle to give you preparation for that game. And of course, we also have Larry and I, when Brad was at a softball tournament, we did a year in review, but we don't do a top 10 list. We just kind of go wherever it takes us. So we had some interesting conversations there. If you're looking for something to do in the car, Brad is literally going to do nothing but listen to the Illini Guys podcast the whole way to Nashville. The rest
all
of the
I want to do is listen to Mike talk.
And
my
the
dream.
rest of his family will hate him forever. But we ask you to go ahead and do that. And if you get the opportunity, folks, join the Illini Guys. It's only 27 cents a day, and that allows us to do things like pay for hotel rooms when we have to go to cover the Illini on the road, pay for cars, gas, etc. We'd love it if you could help us with that. We like to cover the Illini, but in today's massive coast-to-coast Big Ten, it is not nearly as convenient as it was when it was just a little old 10 in the Midwest. So there's a lot more costs involved there, and we would love to see you as well. Join into the IlliniGuys.com YouTube page as well. We're getting really close to 2,000 subscribers. We'd love to get to that level as well. And finally, of course, we have the Illini Guys Sports Spectacular. Anytime you can do either Eye on the Illini or Illini Guys Sports Spectacular, anytime you can follow us, give us a 5-star review, and even type up a few words, it really helps with the advertisers and helps us attract more individuals in that area as well. So, folks, until next time, which is not even 24 hours barely, we will be back. Until then, go Illini.